Welcome back to another episode of the Brew Chronicles. Today, I really like my featured episodes. So I've dragged my pal along with me. I said, hey, want to go for a beer and talk some shit?
Why not?
So how long have we known each other? You stumbled into Craft to Taste a couple of years ago.
Let's see, be 3 years, thereabouts.
Thereabouts?
Yeah.
And you came up, thawed out from down south?
Yeah, came up to be closer to my own kids, but mainly the grandkids. Get too old to be away from them.
Yeah.
Like grow up with them a bit too. And yeah, I thought about getting into doing craft brewing years ago.
Yeah.
I had the ideal setup under the house. It was 14 degrees all the time. And never did. Too busy working.
Yeah.
And then got up here. I'm retired. What do? What am I must do?
So you didn't brew, so I didn't know this, you didn't brew before you moved up to Queensland?
What?
So
Like-
your first experience of home brewing was mine and Dad's ugly mug going, yeah, come here and try our beer.
Actually, your dad's.
Yeah, right.
So the only thing I can vaguely remember is with Dad brewing ginger beer under the house
Yep,
when I was knee-high to a grasshopper,
yep.
and hearing the alcoholic ginger beer go top of the night. Back then, little kid didn't like ginger beer, so it was no good for me.
It's so different though. Like obviously my exposure to home brewing, I guess, is this new age brewing where we've got really good quality, you know, even in extract malt cans. Our yeast is really fantastic. Things like temperature control and all these things are really pushed. Most of us keg. You know, I can remember when you got your fridge set up, but we're all in the same boat, just chef's kiss.
Yeah.
You know, we're all a bit privileged now, and the quality of stuff that we're producing obviously speaks to that.
I've only tipped out 2 brews.
Oh, I know. I remember you tipping out one.
I tipped out the first one, which your dad actually said, I didn't think it was that bad, but that was when it was in bottles. He didn't have it for about 4 or 6 weeks after I gave it to him.
So lots of conditioning time.
And I probably didn't allow it off conditioning, but to me it tasted like, I won't say Thorex, more like Sanitization.
Yeah, right.
And I just, that went out. And then I tipped out a brew when I was kegging. I don't know what, it was just not right.
Yeah.
And had a bit of a tear for that. But ever since, the only problems I seem to get is not carbonated enough, which you can fix. Over-carbonated, which fits.
Yeah.
That's it.
And
Or a little bit too much hot.
Right, and that's still not the worst possible problem that you can have.
No.
Really. And so one thing that I think that you are, I guess, fantastic at showing is beer culture. So you're
Boy.
so you're similar to me. You enjoy home brewing. You love home brewing and sharing your beer with friends. Like you've even got some for me. You share it with your mates. You've got a few mates that are into brewing. But you also love the fancier things in life, like coming down to Buddy. So I know you and a couple of the fellas are down here on a Thursday.
We catch up here and other places.
Yep.
Thursday Cheese, we go
Yep.
there. We want to get to a couple of other breweries, but who's going to drive?
And then as well, you got your doggies cap on.
Yep. Yeah.
how beer culture then fits into the other things that we love. So,
Good and beer.
what do you think about beer culture?
Unlike some people, namely your brother, no offence, Jess, but yeah, uh, I like to enjoy a beer and I like to quench my thirst. So I like to have, if I'm driving, I stick to just a couple, that's it. If I'm not, I like to have 4 or 5 or whatever. Now then, getting on a bit, due to health issues, I'm not drinking like I was, but having any beers over 5%,
Yorkshire.
I just say, nah, I'm not enjoying it because I've got to have a nap.
You and me both, and I'm half your age. But I think what I like now, you look at the two of you and I, the two of us, you know, opposite genders, where
There's only 2, as the shirt says.
but you know, I'm a little bit less than half your age. You know, the two of us typically, if we cross paths, wouldn't go for a drink together.
No.
But our, I guess, enjoyment of beer, our enjoyment for the craft, for the hobby of home brewing, you know, you and I get along like a house on fire. It could quite easily cause a ruckus down here.
I think we did one night, didn't we? Well,
There's been a
that's
few.
life.
But that's what I love, and I think that that's one thing, you know, so many people consider, yeah, like you said, just drinking cheap piss or a lot of it. But I think that whether it's just beer or more broadly home brewing, the relationships that you could have, like was fortunate enough to meet you two fellas last week that you were down here, and they were more than happy to also have a chat with me, talk about what I'm brewing or how I got started, found out the story of your friend. You know, he had decades in the brewing industry or, you know, home brewing and that type of stuff. And I think that sometimes we can look at this and be like, oh, you're a bunch of misheads, and you're not wrong, but there's so much more to this.
Well, it's not quite over the yard arm yet, so...
We don't tell them. They don't know what time we're doing this. So that's one thing that I think is fantastic, is bringing people together. You know, and certainly you do that every week.
I tried. I tried.
I'm actually going to sneak in this one. I think Michelle said this is the California it's California or Carolina Reaper. Did you want to have a sip? No.
No, I used to love chili, and with my reflux,
I actually have to admit, it's more like a tingle or throat. Did you know I helped brew this?
what? You?
I know. There's a bit of shari in this one.
I told Michelle not to steal me beer. She might want the recipe.
So what, I know you do a bit of all grain. Like obviously to start with, you did a lot of extract. Where are you now in your brewing?
Okay, started off on extract,
Yeah.
as you know. Made some different brews. Got told a recipe by someone I know.
You really enjoyed that, didn't you? I don't know why I thought you'd like it, but you did.
It wasn't something that you could drink all the time, but it was like a Christmas Eve beer.
Yeah, so it was the brandy status,
Brandy
ducks.
Brandy snaps.
Yeah.
For those who, anytime you go into a bread shop, or bakery, if you see brandy snaps, get out of the way because I'll buy them first.
Let me know and piss off. I'm buying out the shop.
And for some unknown reason, you told me about it and then gave me the recipe, and I made it, and it wasn't bloody bad.
Yeah.
So from that, I started experimenting with, okay, that's the recipe. How about I do this? Different hops.
And so were you like a typical, I guess, what's Victorian's beer, VB? Were you like a VB?
No. It's,
What was your beer of choice?
when I was young, I was VB when it was a good beer back then, but I was Carlton Draft.
Right, but still very mainstream, like
Yeah.
easy drinking lager. So you walked into Crafted Taste and we went, sprinkled some fairy dust and said, try this. And so that's what home brewing is, what pushed you then to consider craftier stuff?
And the look on your father's face when I said, I want to try and make a Carlton Draft clone.
Which
Yeah.
is funny. I don't know if you saw our episode together, but Carlton Mead and 4X were his go-to beers.
Yep, I saw
Now
that.
it's a bit precious.
I was a Carlton Mitch from when they brought it out because I was in Rockhampton at the time.
Yep.
And at work, where I worked, we used to get the boxes, 30-pack with Powers Gold,
Yep.
which you needed one or two before it started tasting all right. But
When you're up there, they go down so quick that it doesn't matter.
at $19.99 for a 30-pack, it was value. And we used that for our Christmas too. At home, I was drinking 4X Gold. Can't stand 4X full stop. Heavy. Just never been able to drink 4X. Gives
Yep.
me a headache like that. But I could drink the gold. Went to a pub and they had gold bitching from tap for $1 a pop.
Yeah, geez.
And mate, that's turned to me, mate, do you want a Carlton Nick? No, $4. He goes up for his ring. He said, I think she made a mistake in the price. I gave her $5 and she gave me all this back. I said, yeah, my beer's only $1.
What year is this, though? Like, is it before I was born?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, no, I'm still in the 90s.
Okay. You were probably still in 3/4 pants.
Still on Sonny's tip.
Yeah. 2000.
Yeah, right. Because I've never
Thereabouts,
known
yeah.
prices like that.
99, 2000.
Yeah.
And we go out, once we finished, it was a New Year's Day. They had fruit pool. And the jukebox was at a ridiculous price. And the cheap beers. So we're getting pots, not schooners, pots, cans for $1 each. We go out, we better get some of them to take home. You got that Carlton mid strength? Yeah, 30-pack for $25. We'll get two.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah. So
Yeah, nice.
we got onto that, but when I moved back to Melbourne, I went to get it. There was hardly any around except the sport events. You know, the XLG. Back then it was Colonial Stadium. And it tasted like shit.
Yeah, right.
It was made down there, not up here. It was different.
Yeah, I wonder if it's transport or something.
I was told the beer doesn't transfer.
Yeah.
Hence, 4X owned, or wine, whatever, whoever it is, they started bringing Tui's Old up. They were able to sell it here, but up at Rockhampton, it just wasn't right.
It's the heat, yeah.
So 4X started making 4X Black off, they called it. It was same recipe. It just didn't taste right. So, but I love it too, is I.
There we go. And so now,
I used to.
so this is my question. So now, like you're drinking Buddy's Citra,
Yep.
which I think is a pale ale, but it is very crafty. Like the Citra is very much there.
It's at the forefront.
Yes. Are you choosing something like this? Or are you going to go your old trusty Carlton or VB or whatever it is that you...
I tried to make a Carlton clone.
Oh, yes.
It, 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 and I'd never used prior to Brewer, and the recipe told me how to do it, and I forget whether it was a can or what a mangrove jet. I think it was a can.
I think that it would be. I think
And-
it's Morgan's Draft can. Was it red?
Which is Cooper's.
Yeah.
And it tastes like shit.
Did you do it with a lager yeast?
I can't remember. It would be in one of my recipe books,
Yeah.
which I've got. But I normally use the yeast that you put me onto,
Yeah.
just Kavak.
You're right, you like your kebab, do you?
Well, I haven't made a fridge into a fermentation chamber.
Yeah.
I use the fridge as a cold crashing chamber. I will eventually, but in the house that I bought, it's a 2-story townhouse, it stays in the low to mid 20s at all times.
Yeah.
What I've done is I use a belt,
And
temperature controller, and I either do it at 30 or 35 degrees, and I'm getting great beers.
So for anyone who's listening going, 30, 35, what the hell? This is everything the Shari tells me not to do. So
You told me to.
this one. So if you haven't heard of it, Kavak yeast, which is certainly something when I was in the shop, I pushed until the cows came home because its optimal fermentation is between 30 and 40 degrees. And for the average brewer, it will save you beer. Now, in saying that, to play devil's advocate, there are a lot of people who dislike the yeast. I personally don't see any plants. It does impart very mild citrus flavours. I think depending on where your palate sits, maybe you're picking up other things, or maybe you're just snooty and think that you're picking up other things because you know it's been brewed at 35 degrees. I'm not sure. But, so don't brew, if you want to make something like a 4X or Carlton Mead or whatever, you're not going to achieve that with Kavak yeast. Kavak's going to be for things like your IPAs, your pale ales, things that are going to carry those citrus tones, and something that's probably also a little bit more hoppy. And that's going to complement that, which is what you're into, isn't it?
Well, people have to realise that your VB, your 4X bitter, except they're not really a bitter beer, they're a lager.
Yes.
So you've got to use a lager yeast. I went down to a friend's celebration of life about a year ago. Went into my old local. Give us a Carlton Draft. Nearly spat it out.
Really? Oh, so you're the same as Dad then? Real
That
precious.
is bloody terrible. And I had to force myself to drink it because that's all I had. Well, they had others, but I wasn't going to pay like $15 for a spare.
Yeah.
And at his life celebration, and there's Carlton Draft, a few other things, I just said, yeah, I'll stick with Carlton. The first one of the day was
Just acquiring your taste. But there you go. It's funny. I brought one of our labourers for our other business down here, and he's like, I'll have a 4X. And I was like, what the fuck do you think this is? Yeah,
take a 4X out there.
go to the other one. There's some people, I think, that will always be tried and true to that. He's not. He'll drink it. But it's almost, I think there's still a large majority of people that they screw their nose up to the crafty, hoppy stuff. But once they become acclimatized to it, it's like the other stuff's dog piss, really. And there's so much more people moving to this. Now, if you like the other stuff, that's completely fine. But I just find it interesting.
So you say it's dog piss. I pretty well agree. But why have those breweries or that big brewery that owns them, why have they bought up so many micro breweries and still produce their beer? Matilda Bay, bought by CUP. Little Preachers, I think they bought by, was it Nathan?
I don't. There's lots of, like, obviously Stone and Wood got bought
Yeah.
out. Like, there's so many Australian craft, and I still think, like, even Stone and Wood, yes, it's craft, but compared to what some of the guys are doing, it's, you know, it's on the early end of craft compared to. But I think that, you know, the beer that the big guys are making are your base beer that people, you know, start with. It's very cheap. It's not very cheap, but compared to other things in the market, your 4X is a hell of a lot cheaper than your craft beer or your spirits, and people start there. But the craft beer industry is growing at such a rate, at least in Australia. They're like, far out. We're not going to, like, we need to get a piece of this. And that's why I think they're now buying out what were small craft Australian companies, because they've got monopoly. They've got the ones that want to drink the easy drinking cheap lagers. They've got us that want to be drinking good quality hoppy things. You know, I think it's just a smart business move, if anything. On to my next topic, so I don't keep you here all day, because let's face it,
I've got to
it's
drive
Friday, so I could be here all day. Worst and best piece of home brewing advice. Now that I thought that you'd started home brewing before we met each other, now I don't want you to slip any terrible advice I've given you.
Well, best advice was paying attention to you, your dad, your mum. I wasn't sure about Jesse because he took over you. Does he know enough? And he bloody well does.
Yeah.
And now that I'm into all grain, although I will have a fresh water kit every so often, he's very helpful.
His wealth of knowledge. Every time I go in there, he's watching or researching stuff to do with grain. How much work he actually gets done? And I only snuck that in there because he'll have a go at me for
Probably not much.
But, like, he's really invested his time, and this is where I think the two of us complement each other, because, as you'll know, my interest was in making it easy and accessible for people to brew and the extract. He wants to be making good beer from scratch and all that stuff. I don't want to. I don't want to spend 5 hours next to the grain harder.
That is the biggest problem with all grain.
The time.
It's the time. But if you do it, the day goes a little bit quicker. You can maybe do a bigger batch, say you split it. But like everything, it's the cleanup.
Yeah, that's what Jack said.
And the cleanup, really, apart from heating up to the oil, I can heat up to mash temperature pretty easy. I've got a Brewzilla 35. Heats up to that okay. But I've got an extension to take it to 40 odd litres. To get it up to boil, you just watch it go up, down, up, down, up, down. I mean, when are you going to get there? I may as well go and make a cut lunch. And, you know, I might even go do the shopping.
But you might as well just make an extract or a fresh work kit.
Fresh water, bang. Done.
And I do get it. I get the hobbyist part of it, and I get that. You know, I have so much other stuff for me to do. I couldn't imagine anything worse. And like, I guess if that's where you want to go, more power to you. And yeah, you do enjoy that part, and especially it comes then into beer culture, bringing someone over, doing it together, you know, zoning out. I know Dad puts his grandfather there and he watches his dart comps on the TV. I convinced him to put it in his patio. Sonny hated the idea, but it's brilliant. And he plays his darts, you know, and that for him is the optimal day off. Jesse setting up, having his drinks, he likes that. And for you, having your mate over and whatever. But, and I guess this is fantastic about home brewing, no matter where you are, there's something for everyone. And it doesn't matter where you start or where you take it, or if you want to do the easy route or you want to go through all of that. But I will actually ask you, what was your worst piece of advice? Who did it come from? Did it come from Sonny? Just throw her under the bus. Because if you say it to me, I'll edit it out. Was there any worst piece of advice? Like, everything kind of almost ends up in learning curve anyway, doesn't it?
I can't think of anything offhand, but I would say some of the YouTube videos that I've seen.
Yeah, okay.
Especially Australian ones, where they leave all their mistakes in. Why not edit that out?
Do you not think sometimes, I actually did this the other day because I put a brew down and I stupidly put my spoon into something that was not sanitized. And I looked back at it and I thought I could edit that out. And then I thought, fuck, do I actually just leave it in? Because then I went on and went, and it was just a brain fart. Like so I think sometimes we can become too complacent. Now, I don't make many mistakes because, as you know, I'm pretty close to perfect.
Yeah.
But I did leave that in. Now, if you were following it as a step-to-step, like I imagine all grain videos, that would be super frustrating. But it's good to have that feedback, because I left it in to be like, that was fucking stupid. You need to stay clicked on, because that now, and I have checked the beer, fermentation's going well, there's no sign of infection, so I was super fluky, but that could have also completely fucked that beer.
Yep. You gotta, well, if you're starting off, and this is where I did make a mistake, I lifted the lid every day.
Yeah, I say, just don't touch it. You want to see it? Buy a Fermzilla. You can look through it then. Yeah. Don't touch the lid.
Well, I'm pressure fermenting now.
Isn't it great?
Oh, it halves the time, yet I still normally, I'll ferment for about 7 days before I dry hop.
Yeah.
And then I leave that for at least another 5 days before a cold rush.
So Dad and Jesse drink too many of my beers to allow for a 14-day fermentation at this rate?
Maybe you've got to go back there and produce more beers.
Do you reckon I need to actually go work a bit more?
This isn't a full-time paid job yet.
No, I actually do this, and it's not something that I disclose, but this is my hobby.
Yeah.
Now that I've moved away from like an actual position, this is for shits and giggles.
And to educate the newest child.
Yeah, that's right.
This is what life's about.
Yeah, that's right. Did you know Jess has got himself a couple of social media channels?
I did see something that you put up.
So I'm trying to pass
that
it back.
he's now on, what's that one from China?
TikTok.
That's it. Which I refuse to.
Well, they all the videos going on
They're all
anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is one thing that I've spoken about as well. They're like, take what content goes online, and like it's a bit of an oxymoron, because like literally half of my job is to post shit online. But it's like, take what you see online with a grain of salt, do your research, put your thinking cap on, explore all of your options, and then make an informed choice yourself. Because if you follow someone blindly, then you could be in a pickle.
One thing, sanitization.
Yeah.
You've got to do it.
And do it with good quality shit.
Yeah. But if you forget, like you accidentally put your spoon somewhere, it's not going to mean that you're going to wreck the brew.
Yeah.
The chances of it, unless you put it down in,
Unless you sit there and lick it up before
put
it
it on
goes back
some
in.
rucksack or something and then put it in, it's not necessarily going to destroy it. But you could always heat it up.
Yeah, and it's just...
Not boiling, but heat it up. What's your, 70 degrees, and that will kill everything off.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that I left that in for was, one, to be like, hey, stay on your game. But also, while we drill sanitization, and I think it is really important for, things like your fermenter that have been sitting there, your spoons initially, the small little things, sometimes there are mishaps. I'm actually yet to have a beer go bad. The only time I've ever had one with an infection is because Jace dry hopped it, and he'll watch this and be like, that bitch throwing me under the bus. The only time it went sour or went funny, and it was like a whole growth, was after he dry hopped it. And I contribute an unsanitized hop sock, anyway, bringing our family business, our family troubles into this. But I'm sure there's been times where I've stuffed up. I haven't, do you know what I mean? And I've still yet to have one. That's not to say don't be thorough and be complacent. It's to say there's probably a little bit of forgiveness in the universe if you don't get things perfect every time.
I've thrown out one other brew. It wasn't a beer. It was a Mead.
Oh, yeah. Do you have that recipe from Sonny? She's our meat gal.
No.
Or didn't you?
I just went in. I think it was your dad. I said, I want to make a Mead. He said, honey, and whatever. It wasn't that. And the first one was good. It was the second one. I tried to make a Viking one. And the fermenter that I was using, so I was waiting on the 15-litre fermenters to...
Oh, years ago, I remember this. And it was in the peak of the fact that stock and everything was buggered. And production. I think it would have been 2021. Does that sound about maybe?
21, 22.
And COVID had really stuffed us, as they did with every brew shop and with lots of different industries.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
So I ended up getting a cheap one somewhere. And it just wasn't, it looked too cheap and wood, but it seemed to do the job. But after a few weeks, because I couldn't see through it, I didn't just brown. It looked like the fruit had turned mouldy. So I eventually tossed it. It wasn't mouldy, it was just bloated.
Yeah.
Had that crinkly, you've been in the bath for 4 hours and stuff.
Bit crinkly.
Yeah. And I didn't take the risk because I didn't want anyone to get sick.
Yeah.
And I haven't made a Mead again, but I will. And I haven't used the 15-litre fermented that I got off you. But I'll do that, and hopefully around Christmas time, probably a bit after, I'll have a nice fruity vitamin Mead.
Have you ever tried any of Mum's that she's done?
Because she's never had any meat stand there, I don't think.
So, for secret squirrel business, she used to keep her 4 favourite flavoured ones. Oh, she's holding out on you.
Oh,
So have a chat to her, and I don't know, now this was a little while ago, but she has any. But she is, if you haven't had to talk to her about me, that's where Mum's interest is. And
if you didn't hear it or didn't understand the lip reading part, try "you rotten bitch."
she isn't from all of us. We're just going to add to the list. But yeah, and that's, and maybe if there's enough interest, I might even sit down with her and do one of these talking about it, because she's done an oat whiskey mead. So where she's done the mead and sat it on wheat, like whiskey oat gins. She's done a hot pot mead. She's done a lavender and something. She actually won a placing, and I can't remember where it was, in one of the local shows. So yeah, mate, pin her down and say, "Sorry, give me the goods. Give me a taste. Give me the recipe."
Elderberry, was it elderberry cider? One of the
Elderflower.
Yeah, was it that? There's a mangrove jacks.
Elderflower. I think it's elderflower and lime.
I did that, and I tossed that out.
Good job.
It was well. You didn't like it,
Didn't I? I don't remember. It must be a long time ago. I'm not a cider gal though. And this is, my mum was talking with me about meat this morning, and I said, "That's really cool. You do that. I'm not interested." And it's just not an area that I'm overly interested in. I think if I was going to drink mead, I'd be the sweet mead. I don't like that winey taste. I don't drink wine. There's some sours that I like.
Do you ever leave it up?
No, but don't.
Okay. I used to go duck shoot at a friend's property down in Victoria, right up in the Bay Rock High Plains. And he and his wife said, we used to stay in the wool shed. Come down, have a shower, and had a few drinks with us. Gave us his meat because they have got self-sufficient with everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now try it. And he'd heated it up. It seemed to kick it, but it just made it.
So I was at Sonny and Jace's this morning.
And that's straight honey mead.
So Mum has inherited from someone who's passed away. There's a whole story behind it, but no one cares. A whole lot of really old decanters, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. One thing, and I actually opened their little display cabinet this morning and went, what the bloody hell is this? And it's a very small decanter. I reckon it would hold 300 mils at most. And it lays on its side, and underneath it is a tea log. And I thought, geez, that's interesting. What you that? That is exactly what you do. Because you're not drinking a fucking 425 of.
No.
So that's something that we should try. Because that would heat it up.
You might have 10 of them.
So, because my aunt, and I'm not very similar to you. Mead's obviously very alcoholic. Mate, I'm a dickhead at the best of times, let alone drinking anything over, 6%. Well, I actually had a few other points, but I reckon we've rambled on enough, which is very true form, the both of us. We
can do the other points another time, mate.
Yeah, that's right. You and I were definitely born with a gift for gab.
And get someone to drive us.
Michelle. Anyway, she just looked up at us.
Where's your courtesy bus?
All right, well, thank you for joining me. I've had a really good time.
Thank you.
And we might even do a part 2 one day.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Awesome. Thank you.